as we will be observing from the next discussion, the amount of the force that acts as a normal stress or a shear stress in a given piece of viscous fluid. Now consider a block infinitesimal small where the axes are x and y, and the length of this is del y and the length of this unit is del x. So if we consider that it is x point, or it is x point and the length of the time will be x plus del x, and at this point if we consider this as y, then this point will be y plus del y. Hence the force which is acting on x will be P into x of del y and at this point will be P into x plus del x into del y, and the pressure difference will be P into x plus del x into del y minus P into x of del y, and the pressure difference should be calculated in that area, that is del x into del y, as it is considered the unit lengths along these directions, and it will be P of x into del y minus P of x plus del x into dy by del x into del y. That is the stress acting along x direction, and this will be, as the px dy will be cutting down, so obviously P into dx into dy by, so the pressure difference should be minus of P into x plus del x into del y minus x dy by del x into del y, which will be equal to P into x del x by del x into del y. Hence if we cancel out the del y terms, this will be del P into del x minus of del P by del x. And so if there was a pressure gradient along this direction, that is along the x direction, the pressure force of the fluid element will be del P by del x along the x direction, and similarly the pressure difference along the y direction will be del P del y. Now as we are considering that the viscous forces might play into role and if it is in equilibrium, then tau xx is equal to tau yy. That will be the shear normal stress, and tau xy is equal to will be tau yx. That will be the viscous shear stress, and this will be the viscous normal stress, and which will be similar in case of the body is in equilibrium. And as the forces acting along these lines are tau xx into x dx, which will be that tau xx into x plus del x into del y. At this point force, this point tau xx into del x into dy, sorry, x into dy at this point, and the contrast will be just like the earlier case, that is the stress will be divided by the area. It will be tau xx into x dy minus of x plus dx into dy by del y, del x into del y. And the vice versa term will be added for the y direction, and you can see that there will be the del tau xx by del x plus del tau yy by del y. That is also coming from the Taylor series expansion. Now Taylor series expansion is what del px is equal to, or p of del x will be del p plus del x. Similarly, the force acting along the y direction, or the viscous shear stress, will be del tau yy by del y plus del tau xy into by del x. In case of the force is acting along this x direction, there is another thing which we should add, is that if the tau yy is the force acting along this direction, then tau of yx will be the component of the force along x direction, and that's why tau yx will be divided by the del x del y terminology term. And from that, the previous observation can be seen. And for Newtonian fluids, we know that tau xx should be 2 mu into del u del x, and tau yy should be 2 mu into del v del y. It is an expression for the Newtonian fluids that we already discussed, and tau xy and tau yx should be mu into del u del y plus del u del x. Now, if we consider these things, we are clearly seeing that the more infinitesimally smaller the elements we take into account, the more precise our results can be. And in case of a rock which is composed of completely homogeneous mineralogical assemblage, that's why it acts much more precisely than in a rock which is very much heterogeneous in character. Just in case of a metamorphic rock or in a metamorphic mineralogical assemblage, there is a stark contrast of mineralogy as well as the rheology of individual elements. However, and that's why it is very important to understand the mineralogical scale or the levels of the changes of the magnitudes in the minerals, as in case of practical calculations we induce these changes as different parameters. As well as we have seen that there is a role of differential stress that might play a role in the thermodynamic, non-thermodynamic energy term, this parameter is also important. That how to use them in a suitable fashion. Whenever you are doing any calculation, these things must be kept into mind. And